In this class, we are to look at HTML elements. HTML elements. I'm still your friend. Ahebwa Martin here at Palmobs Foundation, Elite Schools. So we are making computing easier. This is my name, my phone number, and my email address. So let's continue here. HTML elements. So what are the HTML elements? So an HTML element is defined by a starting tag. An HTML element is defined by a starting tag. So if the element contains other content, it ends with a closing tag, where the element name is preceded by a forward slash as shown below with few tags. So now I think you can see. So we want to know what are these elements of HTML, but we have simplified it that HTML element is defined by a starting tag. And after having a starting tag, it has an end or with a closing tag. So we have a start tag, a content, and end tag. So this is a paragraph. We are having our paragraph here, and we're saying that this is paragraph content. This one is a paragraph content, and at the same time, this is how we end the paragraph tag. Then we are having what we call an H1 or what we call a heading tag, and this is a heading closing, and this is the heading content. This is where you place your heading. So an example is the other example we used here. Let me open it for you. Let me open it for you. So we created a heading somewhere here in web 1, web 1, web 1 here. So if I open it, edit with a notepad. So we are having H1 here. I think you can see it here. So these H1s, these things we are seeing are the ones we are calling heading. So this is the text. If you want to write something, let's say that you want to put there any heading, let's say that you want to put there any text, this is where you write your heading. Maybe you want to define what your text is all about. Let's say that it's about houses. So this is where you put houses. So meaning that below houses, you are going to list examples of houses. So this is a heading about houses. So let us continue. Let us continue. We are having another one. We are having another one called the. We are having another one called the. We are having another one. We are having another one. Let me come. Let me scroll. We're having a head. We're having a div. So div, what is the div? This is the division content. The division content. So we are having it represented by a div opening and a div content. So these are sections within our web page. Sections within our web page. Then we are having a break, and we call these ones empty elements. They self-close themselves. So now let's see. So here in a paragraph is an HTML element paragraph with some texts as how we have been seeing them in the above examples. So we had them paragraph here and an example here. So then we're having H1 and H2, H1 and H2 heading 1 with some content, and H2 is another HTML element. There are some HTML elements which don't need to be closed, such as IMG. This is an image element, image, then the source of the image and the rest. So we are going to be seeing them in the coming videos. So now the heading, this one, or the horizontal line break, this one. So the horizontal line, so this one is also self-closing, and the break, so the creating breaks, or having a paragraph divided into different lines, the content being placed on different lines, breaking the paragraph. So elements, these are known as void elements. So they are known as void elements, this one. So now let us continue. HTML documents consists of a tree of these elements, and they specify how HTML documents should be built and what kind of content should be placed in what part of an HTML document. So now we are having what we call an HTML tag versus an element. So let us see what is an HTML tag and what is an element. So an HTML element is defined by a starting tag if the element contains other content with a closing tag. So now if the element contains other content, then with a closing tag. For example, we are having this paragraph is a starting tag of a paragraph, and this one is a closing tag of the paragraph. But P, this is a paragraph. This is a paragraph element, meaning that the contents here, this one, The other one is starting, but it has no content. So this is an HTML tag, but this one is an HTML element because it has contents inside it. So now let us continue. That is the difference between HTML tag and an element. So let us continue to nested HTML elements, nested HTML elements, nested HTML elements. So let us see what are nested HTML elements. So it is very much allowed to keep one HTML element inside another HTML element. It is very much allowed to keep one HTML element inside another HTML element. Let us see how to do it. So that's a nested HTML elements, whereby you find some HTML elements are being used within other elements. So for example, here, let us see the example here. We have a doc type here, we have HTML here, we have a head here, and a head opening. A head contains, now for example here, we are having a head as the example of a nested HTML element. So we are having a head, this head as how we are seeing it. Then inside the head, there is a title. That is why we are calling it nested elements example. So the title is an example of a nested element because title exists within a head tag. So I think you have seen it. So we have a body here. Also inside the body, inside the body tag, we have another element called the h1, that is heading 1. And inside the h1 heading, we are having another element which is italicizing. So this is I stands for italicizing, meaning that put this word into italics. So that italics, it means that it is getting nested, it is existing within another HTML, another element. That is what we call nested HTML element. So let us see. So I will highlight this one. I highlight them, I press Ctrl C to copy. I go to my text editor here. I open, I paste my content. I save it. Now I'm going to save this one in my desktop and in my website as how we said. So we are going to have it called nested dot nested.html. Then I save it. So we can continue. To copy another code here. Let me copy another code here. So I copy this, So they are saying that after this will display the following result after running it. So you see this word, it is italicized. It is italicized. So the way how we have been using these things in Microsoft Word, now here we are writing them, we are coding them. We want to see their genesis, how they got to be created. So now we are creating it by ourselves, not just clicking the tab. Okay, so let us continue. I bring it here and paste it there. So after pasting it, I save. After pasting it, I do save it here. So now after saving, I can go to my web browser here on my folder website. Then I open that nested. So after clicking on nested, I double click on it. Now I think you can see it. We are having 25 here. We have this is italic heading. I think you can see it the way this one, the nested element. So italics is nested inside the heading. Underlining, so you see how we underline. So this word is underlined. So now let us go back to our code. So we are having this one HTML. So 25, this 25 is written in this, but we can remove it. We save here. So this title here, nested elements example here, as how you're seeing it, we are having h1, but now having other elements within the same element, and I have called that one element nesting. So if I come back here and I reload, that is what comes out. So if I come back on my web, on my text editor, and I remove these ones, let me for example remove italics, and also I remove this one, and also remove underlining. Let me also remove underlining, and at the same time I remove also this one. Then I save changes. If I come back to my browser here and I reload, now do you see those things get omitted because they are not in the code. The code does not compile them because they don't exist within our code. So if I again put them, I nest them, and I save changes, I come back to my code here and I refresh, I think you can now see it here. So thank you for watching.